Welcome to another episode of Live Talk. Today I have a special guest, a good friend of mine for already 2, 3 years. Currently in New York, taking care of his community, his staff, and giving a lot of value on the current situation in the world um, regarding COVID-19. I'm really, really honored to introduce you as my guest today. Max, how are you?
What's up, Jesse? I'm glad to be here, man. I'm glad to be talking to you. I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to make the best of this situation. I'm seeing a lot of positives in it. Of course, the negatives are every easy to see for everybody. The negative is people dying and the misery and things like that. But I'm just trying to find the positive because if all you see is the negative, it's going to be overwhelming and depressing. So what can you do at this point? You know?
Very true, very true. And when it comes to your business, um, like the mezzanine is closed, but you're still processing online orders, right?
Yeah, I'm taking care of online business, and I'm making trips to the office, and sometimes my staff and we also come in. You know, they come in voluntarily because they got to eat, bro. They got to make money, and I have thousands of clients that spent so much money, right? And they have to get taken care of. The employees have to make money. The business has to run. Luckily, I could do it online and I could make it happen and survive and eat. But other people are in big trouble, bro. So the world is in big trouble in general.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I get you. And you texted me the other day. I think we were gonna do the podcast that day, and you were like, "Bro, like there was some like something with the landlord."
Landlord.
Um,
Yeah, I mean,
like,
listen,
yeah,
I called up, bro. I got like 5 kilograms of gold and like $500,000 worth of jewelry in my office, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you can't come in." I'm like, "What, bro? I spent 1.2 million dollars in rent in this building, bro.
yeah.
$1.2 million in rent. I've been paying $10,000 a month since 2008." And the motherfuckers got the nerve. I'm sorry to use the language, man, but they got the nerve to tell
Yeah.
me that I can't come in to my office. So whatever, I handled that. I'm just not gonna go
Yeah. Okay.
into it. I
That's good.
handled it.
That's good.
I mean, listen, I would have jumped over the fence and cracked him right in the face. I'm not playing around, bro. It's like imagine you're
Yeah.
coming home after a long day's worth of whatever, and
Yeah.
someone says, "No, you can't go into your apartment." You're like,
I feel
"Excuse
you,
me?"
bro. I feel you. And for everybody's listening right now, it's technically your second home, right? It's like wherever like a lot of jewelry is stored, a lot of things are happening
It's
to
my
like
livelihood.
it's yeah, exactly.
The
And
only time someone would ever say that, and
yeah,
maybe in Nazi Germany, somebody would have had a jewelry store, and then one day, because I read this book called The Wall, and then one day you wake up and they say you can't come to your store, you can't do this, you can't do that. That's supposed to happen in America. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? In
Yeah.
the middle of this shit, for someone to tell me, "Oh, you can't come into your office." What, man? Forget about it. I didn't
It's
even want to hear
wild.
that. I was like, "Are
Yeah.
you out of your mind?"
That's wild.
Whatever. The bottom
So
line is, it's
mhm,
tragic. People are behaving the way they are. People can't handle this type of problem. It really comes down to every man for themselves at this point. That's
mhm.
the way that type of event makes you feel.
And for everybody listening right now, Mexican is not only my friend, but he's also one of the realest persons I know. He tells you like it is, whether you agree with him or not. He has no filter, and it's rare, like society these days. You can't trust nobody. Everybody's filtering. Everybody's pretending to be someone they're not. And then I met you, so I think that's something that is a quality that I hope you never lose, and also the reason why I encourage anyone that's listening to follow you, because you put
Appreciate
some
it.
information out there, bro. Like you're now doing videos on the like what's happening real time with COVID-19. A lot of valuable information, sometimes confronting. Um, how is that going? Like, what is the response you get on that, and how is that like affecting you?
Well, I mean, it's you know, it's affecting me in a positive way because the thing is, it works like this. When I started saying things about COVID-19 and there's going to be shutdowns and this, that, and the second and the third, people said I was crazy. They're like, you're a jeweler in the Diamond District telling people that the United States government is going to shut down in a couple of weeks. You're stupid and you're insane. You're making yourself look dumb. That's what they said to me. However, when the United States government actually did shut down, then it was like, wait a minute now. I've been calling this guy stupid, but actually what he said actually happened exactly as he said it. So maybe he's not as stupid. Maybe, I don't know. So those people that I shifted their perspective, they're looking at me and they're looking at me slightly differently now. They're looking at me with more caution before they move their thumbs and start writing that because I told them A, B, and C is going to happen, and CNN didn't tell them the same thing. Before they move their thumbs, they think twice. That's where we're at this point.
Wow. Yeah. And I see that you now also started a new page talking about that as well. Um, like how in depth do you go? Because what is your current opinion about this whole pandemic? Like you share different perspectives, but we have
My
been, yeah. Mm-hmm.
my perspective is at this point on the whole thing is spiritual, really. Because it's necessary for the society to go through this, because this society, if it wasn't this, it would have been something worse, right? The way I view this is the whole civilization of the human race is like a teenager that's got into a car accident, right? And if they didn't get into this accident now, they would have got into something worse down the road because they needed to learn because their behavior was very bad. And if you're a teenager, you don't want to be in a car accident, right? And the reason why I'm saying that is because when I was 18 years old or 19 years old, before I turned 20, the last stupid thing I did as a teenager is I smoked a lot of weed, and I went to go pick something up in Manhattan, and I crashed into a 18-wheeler on the Queensboro Bridge. And it went like this. I was driving and I was smiling ear to ear. You know what I'm saying? And then, boom, the airbag exploded right in my face. And the thing is, when I finally got home, I'm like, why was I doing that? It was time for me to learn. And this is pretty much what's going on in this civilization. We're going to have to go through this because, one, none of this had to happen. When follow the events. When the outbreak came out in Wuhan, the doctors in the hospital saw it. They're like, okay, 2 patients today, 4 patients the next day, 8 patients the day after that, 16 the day after that, picking up the phone saying something is wrong. The officials in China said nothing is wrong, shut up. They kept saying that this is happening. They arrested them and kept it under lock. Then when the whole city was overwhelmed and people were dying, they locked down the city, kept it a secret from the world, prevented the air travel from Wuhan to anywhere in China, but let it spread throughout the rest of the world. So you couldn't do worse than that. You're shutting up the doctors, then you're shutting down the city, and you're letting the city travel around the world, but not to the rest of China. So now the whole world got infected. And now the world, where's the world respond? Okay, China's bad. They did it. The Communist Party did something nasty. Now the rest of the world, the virus is everywhere. Oh, nothing is going to happen. The whole city of Wuhan has been locked down for 2 months. The people are being locked in their buildings over there. Locked in their buildings. And then now officials here in New York or officials in wherever, in any city in the world, Paris, London, oh, this is nothing. Don't worry about it until it's too late. So everybody has been misbehaving from beginning to end except the doctors that were sounding the alarm in Wuhan. And now we're in this situation. So, what can you say, man? I mean, with global warming and with serious problems that are bearing down on this civilization, you can't have this type of level of stupidity going around. It's going to be the end of the world. We've got nuclear weapons. We've got serious technologies. We've got artificial intelligence coming along. We've got all sorts of crazy weapons and all sorts of things going on. we can't behave like this. We got to smarten up. And if this is what it takes to smarten up, if it takes this car accident to smarten up, then this is what it takes, and that's it.
And one thing you just reminded me of is like when you and I were like saying, wear a mask, right? We got some hate on that early in the beginning, and now everybody's like, "Oh shit, yeah." Now they're like, advising us to wear a mask. But, like we've been saying that in the beginning. Matter of fact, because of you, I was able to get some masks. And was able to give some to family people that need them, so thanks to you. And like I think even when I was in New York, like giving them out to communities with like a spray bottle like of 70%
Yep.
alcohol. So there was no like hoarding or anything bad that we were doing. We were like trying to like help and put people's perspectives and make them think for themselves. But
Let me say a
yeah.
word on that, man. First and foremost, the CDC and everyone else in the government, instead of saying, hey, we don't have enough masks for everybody, try to make your own, or this is what you can do, they said masks don't work. So the dummies of society, right? When I'm doing the research and I'm saying, listen, you need a mask that could filter out this airborne virus, right? They're saying masks don't work, wash your hands. They're saying misleading information that's getting more people sick, that's making it worse for the first responders because they're dealing with way more patients than they should have been dealing with. If people just sat there and day one said, you know what, put on a mask, use a scarf, layer it up with, these types of materials, one cotton layer, one layer of polyester, one other layer it up, protect yourself and wear a mask. Instead of doing that, they decided to tell people that masks don't work. And some of the dum-dums out there that are looking at us protecting ourselves and protecting our community from the spread of the virus. I'm not just protecting myself, okay? I have chronic bronchitis. If I get this problem, I'm going to end up dying. Why do I want a healthcare provider sitting there wasting a hospital bed and wasting all this extra stuff to sit here and watch me die? What's the point of that? Why don't I just put on a mask, right? And the dum-dums are saying, hey, this doesn't work, this, that. Then they changed the CDC, and now they're saying, well, masks prevent you from spreading the disease, but it don't prevent you from getting it. Now, that's even more dumb. How is it possible? Is a mask like a revolving door? How is it letting it not out, but letting it in? It's just insane, and it's just the dumbest. It's dumb from beginning to end, and it's parallel to evil, really. So whatever, man.
And now they're saying like you wear a scarf, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Wear a cloth. It's just nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
What they're saying is, this is what they're saying. What they're saying is, we're too dumb to solve this problem. We're going to collapse the economy and reset the whole monetary banking system because we brought it down with our stupidity. That's what they're saying to me when they say shit like that.
How do you like deal with this, now like working, going into the office? I've seen it when I was in New York. For everybody listening, before all this, Max and I had an idea to like create like this women's jewelry line kind of like thing to collab. Then this happened. I've been in the office a few times. I see now how you deal with online orders. Like there is a lot of orders like in backlog right now. They're like, how are you coping with this? Like I've seen you deal with this, but like, can you please explain to the listener, because I saw like what you were going through in the office. I felt for you.
Listen, I'm rebuilding my business. This is what it is, whether it's a tornado or a virus or what have you, it is what it is. I have to rebuild my business. Luckily, I stocked up on the necessary things, gloves, alcohol, and things like that to handle the jewelry, to equip my staff, so we could go and we could reopen our production, process the jewelry, ship it out to the customers, and do what I have to do to survive and stay afloat.
What do you do to boost your immune system?
Well, I have elderberry. That's the best. Every morning I take a little shot of that. I have a bunch of vitamins, vitamin C, garlic powder. You know, you could go through a whole lot of. Just go to Amazon and look at all of the variety of different extracts that they have, and make a little cocktail for yourself. You can't go wrong with all these roots, the thyme extract, essential oils. All of that stuff is very beneficial. So I go and I do that, and my immunity and my breathing and everything like that has been becoming to be even better.
Oh, that's good to hear. When do you plan to like reopen, like slowly? Is there anything like any insight on that?
Listen, the real future of what's going to
Mhm.
be happening here is opening or reopening. This city of Manhattan is going to be finished for a year and a half. And people are going to have to deal with that and figure that out at the least, right? Until they find a cure or vaccine. There's 277,000 people infected here right now, right? I'm just going to look at the numbers real quick in the United States. Right, the U.S. has 985,000. We're closing in on 1 million in a day. Today is 24,000 new cases. Yesterday was 35,000. The
I
curve
think
is
New
not
York
really
is half of
flattened.
that, right?
New York is 293,000. It's not really flattened out. New Jersey's another 100,000, and Massachusetts 54,000, right behind it. So, the tolls and the numbers are no good. 288,000 people in New York, or by now it's 293. And out of those recovered are only 40,000 or so.
Hmm.
So that's a lot of people that are not even recovered. How many of those are going to recover permanently? How many of those are going to be in serious condition? How many of those are not going to recover at all? How many people don't we know that have it? And when they're going to open up this economy and people they're going to be out there, it only takes like 10 or 20 people. It only takes one really to restart the problem. If you're going to have 1,000 people out there, just 1,000 that are still infectious, and they're going to be spreading that infection in a restaurant or in this or in that, where people gather, or in a subway, then you're going to be right back where you started, if not worse, within 30 to 60 days. So, okay, we open up in May. We're going to be closed in August. That's it.
Plus, we have the flu then as well on top of that, with the fall. But like what I've been thinking about, right? So we're working towards this new normal society, right? I've said this before. Like we're used to like giving each other a hand, but if you think about it, I honestly wouldn't mind to just not give people a hand. Like I'm okay with just this, or like how they
Yeah,
do in Japan. You've been to Japan.
of course.
Um,
That's why they do it.
yeah, and I think I'm like when you think about it, it's like why would I need to have your germs, your viruses, whatever you have in your hands,
Yeah,
like, or you went to the toilet, or you didn't wash your hand. Why do I want to
yeah.
like?
Well,
So
listen, if I'm shaking hands with
yeah,
you, I prefer to shake hands with you because we know we're both normal people that washed our hands.
yeah,
But there's so many nasty people that show up, and then you're like, you have to shake hands with them that are just nasty, right? If everybody, bro, we wouldn't have this problem if people were like me and you. Okay, we're two different people, but at least we're both civilized and we're gonna act like human beings. I'm not gonna do something that's gonna make you uncomfortable. You're not gonna do something that's gonna make me uncomfortable. That's why we're friends. That's why we're talking to each other now. But there's people out there that really have sinister things in mind. They'll do something nasty, and then they'll come and they'll shake your hands. And they think that it's fun. I was just, had my hand down my pants, and now I'm shaking hands with this jeweler in the diamond district. Ha ha. That's how they think. So in that regard, bro, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? These people are nasty and they're disgusting. And New
true,
York is a savage place. It's a crabs in a barrel situation. So
true.
of course we have to do it like in Japan. Just, hey, nice to meet you, pleasure to meet you, nice to meet you. That's the evolution of civilization, of society. It is what it is.
I'm
It's
glad you
done.
say that because I was thinking about this. Like I wouldn't mind.
The dream is coming
Yeah,
true for some people, and it's turning into a nightmare for somebody else.
yeah.
That all depends on what niche you're in and where you win and how you win. Like right now, with the economy going the way it is, the gold price is increasing. Things are happening that are pretty serious. So I'm going to find a way to win. And for me, I'm going to try to rise above and actually improve my quality of life while this is happening. And believe it or not, Jesse, the quality of my life has already been better than it was before. Because before, as you know, I was going to the Diamond District, working like a dog,
I remember
battling
those
people
times.
left and right,
Yeah,
and going crazy. You know what I'm saying?
I
Now
remember.
I wake up, I'm staying home for days, I'm working from home, and I'm developing a new style of business. So my life has gotten better. If you're a healthcare worker, your life has not gotten better, bro. If you are in a Broadway play and Broadway's closed and it's not going to open for a year, your life has turned miserable. If you had one of the most amazing restaurants in New York City, your life has went from here to nothing. You have nothing in your life now. Your whole life you were a restaurateur. Your whole life you were a chef. Now what do you have? Nothing.
True. Very
But
true.
if you're a jeweler and you're working with precious metals, you're rising. So someplace you could find your happiness, you could find your victory. You have to find it and envision it. And again, if it's your time, it's your time. I had a very hard time for a very long time because it wasn't my time. It is what it is, bro.
I love that. Um, yeah, no, I'm gonna keep you updated on on that move, which is not gonna happen anytime soon. Um,
But why do you
but
want to leave Amsterdam? What's calling you to New York?
well, business, obvious and obvious reasons, and um, like my vision is this: I want to do it for a year, and then I want to kind of like see where I want to settle, right? Um, because New York, like I've seen you, and I've seen you go to work. You have a lot on your plate, like a lot of stressors daily, a lot of bullshit you have to deal with. New York is just a lot, like a lot of things going on, a lot of bullshit. So it's great for like hustle, like you just mentioned, and just like making it happen and putting it into gold or whatever. But ideally, like this is me, I'd go somewhere like Hawaii or
Yep.
wherever, right? And you know how much I travel already. So
So why
location
are
is
you saying New York if you'd like to go to Hawaii?
because for 1 year I just want to like establish like my business, because right now everything is operated from Amsterdam, and I want to like start that in the US. And New York is just the best way to do it. I've come to know. So that's pretty much why, man. Yeah.
I hear you.
And like life is, like you just said, life is dynamic. I don't even know. Like I could literally move and the economy goes like super well, and the gold price goes up. Or at this point, like I think everybody else, like you take it day by day and you innovate your business model the best way. Like I just recently published a book. If I didn't do that, I'd be going through hard times. Like I have property, I have tenants that I send out. I'm like, I said, go back to, they're from Spain. I'm like, go back to Spain because they're going to close the border. I don't want you to be here with your family. They're like, yeah, but you're going to come after me with money. Like, I'm like, no, I don't want your money. This is an emergency. Go back to Spain, go to your family,
Mhm.
forget about it. You can go back to the apartment when it's clear.
Mhm.
So, yes, financially, this is a challenging time for me,
A
but at
shit
the
show.
same time,
Yeah.
yeah, but at the same time, you innovate, you try to like balance it out with other things. So that's why I think your story is so inspiring, where you're saying like the whole diamond district is closed, but you're still somehow able to produce.
Yep. I have no choice. I mean, people
Yeah.
are crawling back in there little by little because they realize it is what it is.
Hmm.
So, but the Diamond District is at a disadvantage because most of those people are old. So for them to go risk, their 60s, 70s, late 50s, for them to go risk and go out and contract this virus is super dangerous. Overweight and all that other stuff. They're not in the shape to do that. So for them to show up and go back to the Diamond District is a big mistake. So the Diamond District, if it's gonna shut down and I'm gonna be the only game in town over there, then listen, it is what it is. I'm gonna make the most out of it, man. I'm gonna survive. I'm gonna make it. Do what I have to do. Take care of my customers. Build my life. I saw this coming from a mile away
True.
relative to everybody else. So I'm gonna do what I can to make sure that I prosper, bro.
I love that, bro. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you again. Um, and yeah, stay healthy, bro.
Anytime, Jesse, man. I'd like
Yeah.
to hear what your fans think about this conversation.
Yeah. So follow my man Trex NYC at Trex NYC for anything related to news, COVID, and I think it's at Trex_news, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
on
So
Instagram.
make sure to check him out, and thank you so much, bro. I appreciate it.
All right, Jesse. Thank you.
All right.